Alright, so today I'm going to be changing the fabric out on this awning. This is a Girard Slide Topper. You can see this one's still got the little Girard emblem plaque. Out of the 8 plaques, this is the only one that remains, and it's broken. Highways must be littered with those. This is our bedroom slide in our 2008 Country Coach Magna. Right now I'm putting these bungee cords on to hold this sweep or this cover up out of the way. It really is inconvenient while you're working. So I'm just hooking them on that faux rail on this side. So the winding mechanism on these Girard awnings topper is always on the left end. I'll get better pictures of that in a moment. So this is where most of the work happens. But on the right end, or on the opposite end, you have to remove these screws. Overall, the process is to loosen the spring that holds the tension on the fabric. Once it's loose, you remove this, you slide this middle excrusion out, all the way out, and remove it. That leaves this end of the fabric loose with one excrusion still on it. Then you unroll the fabric completely and you slide the fabric out the slot. Currently the slot on the right hand side is hidden by this plastic. We're going to be sliding ours out on the left hand side. You'll see it a little bit more later. Once the fabric's out completely with this it's still attached, you bring it to the ground, and there you continue by removing this last metal clip and installing it on a new piece of fabric. Then is where we're going to be unwinding the screw, and you can see that hole right here, that opening has a single screw going through it in the middle. This is the device where we put the tensioning tool. And the tensioning tool is really just a 3/8 inch extension, 3/8 inch socket extension that ground a slot that will go over that screw. Fits pretty snug in. Normally you have to tap it to get it inside the slot. But before I start actually unwinding, these 2 screws have to be removed. There's one here and one here, and they're what holds the tension. So certainly when you remove those screws, you have to be holding backup pressure on, or it will just unwind dramatically. This silicone sealant is all that holds those little Girard plastic covers in place, and you can see sticks pretty good to the aluminum but didn't stick real good to the plastic. So these 2 screws are 3/16 stainless screws into aluminum, and they've been there, in my case, 18 years. This is one of the points to be concerned with. It's not the place to get cheap. If you have to go buy a new driver bit, a good quality number 3 Phillips driver bit, spend the money and go get it. You do not want to strip these out, and they are going to be difficult to get out. I'm going to take the top one out, clean it, lubricate it, put it back in, and then take the bottom one out, and then finish getting ready to detension the spring. Once I've got all the detensioning things in place, I'll remove the top screw again to start the detensioning process. Okay, so I'm set up for detensioning now. You can see that screw has been removed right there and down below also. And you can see, in fact, you don't even see the threads anymore because the little device back there that holds them is rotated now, not perfectly vertical, it's a little off. That aluminum block you're seeing in that photo is what the screws go into. So I hold back up with the vice grips so that I can reposition the ratchet. And once the ratchet's ready, which will be up, I'll loosen the vice grips and rotate the ratchet down, put the vice grips back on, move the ratchet back to the vertical position, undo the vice grips, rotate it down, and repeat. It's should be 7 winds on there, so this will take at least 12 to 14 cycles to undo this. Do not slip doing this, because it'll just, that spring will unwind in there. I don't know if there's any real cause for it, but they warn against it. The first one I did let slip about halfway through the process, so probably 3 of the winds or maybe 4 of them. It didn't seem to be any long-term consequences, but I'm doing my best not to do that again. Okay, now I'm fully detensioned. One thing I will add is grabbing this hardened steel with a pair of pliers. If you got any wear and tear on those jaws of the pliers, the teeth of the pliers, they're not going to hold against that very well. This is the time to make sure you have a good pair, a really good pair of vice grips or pliers, whatever you're going to use to hold that. Don't get chintzy at this step. So, now completely detensioned. I should be able to pull. Yep, it comes right on out now. Okay, another part of the process is removing these screws from the end of these escutcheons. There's one in each of these that thread right into there on each end. Probably not all 4 need to be removed, but I've always removed all 4. Another good point for new tools, bought some brand new Milwaukee driver bits for my impact driver, number 2 Phillips driver bits for my impact driver, and they don't slip. So pay me now or pay me later. You strip these screws, you'll be here for hours. If you get the right tools, you'll be done in seconds. Okay, I've begun the process of removing this escutcheon. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing it. You can see I've got it supported in the middle. These things are very thin, flimsy. Would totally screw up the whole project if you bent one of them. And you can see it's most way out. I'm gonna finish removing it out. Yep, it kind of takes 2 hands, but I'm trying to do it one-handed. There it is, it's out and secure. I'm gonna take it and put it down on the scaffold and then come back and start removing the canvas. Okay, I'm ready to start removing the canvas. As you can see, you got this inner groove right here, and you got a slot here for the canvas to pass out of. So you got to kind of line them up. Should come right through there now. I'm gonna give this pull one-handed and see what happens. I may have to put the phone down for a minute to be able to get that started. I'm gonna pause the video for a moment. I've got it started a little bit, and this is not hard to pull out. So in this case, this is the first time that's happened. I was able to grab this little bead that's through here and slide it all the way out, and it came out easier than the canvas did. So now this is the proper way to get it out, but probably because I've removed that bead, I can just do it like that. So whatever works best for you. It's the first time that's happened to me. This is about 6 of them I've done, and I've never intentionally tried not to do that, but I think in the future I'll be doing that more. Of course, then again, I hope to never do it again. So while we had this off, we definitely took the opportunity to clean it. And now we're spraying the 303 rubber protectorant. Really getting that seal good. Now we're also spraying this seam down here, which is a rubberized material. Sure can't hurt. So we're going to do that the entire length and most all the way around. This is that 303 rubber protectorant. I'm a big believer in that. I buy it by the gallon and put it back in the spray bottle. So we're using this Solera fabric. We bought this off Amazon. It's a 50-foot roll, 48 inches wide. Comes in this box with a little roller inside. It actually dispenses out really easy. Regarding the length, we're actually using the metal strip that we removed off the old piece for the length. You can see right here we got a line that we're cutting to. On the other end I have it clamped right on the end of the fabric. I've done this on both sides, marked a line on both sides, and then connected the two with a straight edge. Okay, we finished cutting our last piece to length. Here's the bead, or the excrucian that comes down with the fabric. The fabric has a thin bead on one side and a bigger bead on the other side. The larger bead goes towards the drum where it winds up. The smaller bead goes to the outside. It also has a seam, and you can see right here the seam is heat welded, but the actual lap is on the other side. So this is up. We're looking at the top of the fabric, and this little piece here is got an upside and a downside. It's easy to tell here because this side's painted. The other side's kind of concave. I'm about to take my wire lube and grease up the first 3 or 4 feet of this and start sliding it in the tube, and then stop, grease another section, slide it in, stop, grease another section, and slide it in. So you'll just have to trust me.
So Tom's putting on some of that lubricant that goes on the top. Makes it easier to slide in.
This is wire pulling lube.
Yep.
Couldn't find the Klein version, but Milwaukee seems to be working just fine. This came out of there pretty easy with no wire lube, plus it was dirty. So I don't expect a big challenge going in.
You can see where it goes. Okay.
You might have some sound effects. Okay, so we've managed to get the fabric pulled in all the way down. Did our best to make it even on both ends. Now what we got to do is we got to thread this excrucian back between the two of them. This normally isn't very hard. Biggest challenge is making sure that end doesn't fall off the ladder and bend and break. So we see we've got these two side by side here, ready to pull it in. Again, it takes 4 hands to do this, so there won't be any video. That little middle metal strip reinstalled all the way down. Now the next step is to reinstall these 4 little screws, 2 on this end and 2 on the other end. These keep these metal strips from sliding back and forth. Okay, so I got the screws installed all 4 places. Now it's time to start winding it up. So right now I'm just going to wind up the loose fabric. I got my tool tray sitting here to offer a little pressure on it as I wind it up. I want it to get on there nice and snug and straight. Okay, so I'm trying to wind up the fabric, and you got to remember, always counterclockwise. So it'd be a loosen setting on your ratchet. Trying to build a little tension so it'll wind this fabric up. There it goes. Keep going. Alright, so I got the initially fabric wound up. Took a minute to get it left and right and even and get all the wrinkles out of it. So now I'm going to start tensioning. I've got this little index mark on my socket extension here, and 7 revolutions is what I'm looking for, is what they recommend. On this small, I don't know, it's actually a pretty decent slide out distance. Could probably get by with less, but I'm going to go with 7 unless something happens. Okay, that's 7 turns. Now I've got to get that little inside bar lined up vertically. Right now it's horizontal. So the screws will go back in. I've got a little ice pick looking device I can stick in the holes to kind of grab it. Okay, that's it. So I've wound it 7 times. I've got those 2 screws back in. I put some nice lubricating oil in there to help prevent corrosion in the future. It's all installed. It's got a little wrinkles in it, but over time coming in and out, it'll smooth out some and still do exactly what it needs to do, even if it doesn't. I think some of it's because it's got a cold day. It's early February we're doing this. Anyway, that's a done deal.